Hey, and welcome back to the Wildling Podcast. I am your host, Viking Witch, Vulva, but nobody is going to be able to say it like vulva and not think of something else. So, Viking Witch. I didn't change my hair. No. As if you can see this on video, then you can probably tell this is in fact a wig. I like cosplay. And my hair was looking like a mess, and I thought, I'm gonna put a wig on because one of the great things about a cosplay wig is that you can change up your hair without the commitment. And I love that. I think that I might even start doing that more often. But anyway, this episode is going to be a lot faster than the first official episode. The first episode was business tips, which was really more about starting a business and advice on how to do that. Today, it's going to be on spring cleaning because it is coming up on that time of year. It's March, and a lot of people will talk about or will actually do spring cleaning. And one of the things that makes this an important topic is the mental health aspect of it, because that's always an important topic. And the green, I feel like the green hair goes with spring. I don't know about y'all, but I am ready for spring. I've just had it. I don't want it to be hot. I don't want it to be freezing cold. I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to have to put on 50 million layers to go outside. I'm tired of the salt. I'm tired of the sludge cleaning off my car. I've just had it. I've absolutely had it. And that's pretty standard for how it gets once it's around this time of year. I'm just over it. I'm ready for spring. And I don't want spring to go away too quickly because I also don't like the summer. I like to be comfortable. Summer's way too hot. Anyway, so I'm going to kind of do that thing where I just talk about the topic and then I will refer to a little bit of notes that I made. I hope you can't hear my stomach growling. Um, anyway, so the thing about spring cleaning is you don't have to get rid of things. You don't have to feel like you have all this kind of pressure to do the entirety of your apartment or your house or whatever you have in one go and just get rid of everything you own. You don't have to do it that way. You can definitely simplify it, and it needs to be tailored in a way that is going to work well for you, and a way that's going to make it to where you actually want to do it and it doesn't feel totally overwhelming or like you're just. Some people get an emotional attachment to their stuff as well, so don't feel like you have to just automatically get rid of everything. But it is good to downsize. It is a really good thing to declutter. And it's kind of a morbid way of looking at it, but if something were to happen to you and someone had to go through all of your stuff, how much are they going to have to deal with? And that is something to always consider because that can happen at any time to anyone. And aside from that, hopefully that doesn't happen. But on the other side of that, just for your mental health, it is going to be so much better, even physical health, to have a space that is relaxing, decluttered, and just feels good. If you need to start with one room, take a day and just do one room at a time, you can absolutely do that. You can start with either your most utilized room or the least utilized room. And if you have any storage space, whether it is an actual storage unit or a garage or an attic or whatever the case may be, this is a good time to go through that stuff as well. And this stuff can be time consuming. It can definitely be time consuming. Sorry, I'm tripping up over my words a little bit. You might also need to invest a little bit of money, but it could totally be worth it. It can be really, really helpful to have the contractor garbage bags because they're huge and they're very durable. And it can also be helpful to invest in some good containers. I say good because I got some containers and the lids just collapse. They say they're unbreakable, but they didn't mention the fact that their lids are just going to collapse and you can't stack them and they absolutely suck. So be careful with what kind of containers you get. Also, getting your cleaning supplies. That way you can disinfect as you go as well. And people kind of do this a little bit differently. What's helpful for some people is to pretty much pull everything out at once. If you're going to do that, I highly recommend making an organization pile. So, if you're going through your bedroom and wardrobe, for example, then make a pile of clothes. Or you can get even more helpful with to yourself in this process and do seasonal clothing or active wear versus office wear versus whatever. Like PJs, just organize it in a way that feels good for you as you're going through this process. And and then your shoes, you can do the same thing with that. And then also, I don't know what you have in your bedroom. If you have books, things like that. If you're trying to downsize your books, hit me up because I'm probably gonna want them. I collect books, I love them. Really only the ones that I tend to read, but I really want a home library, so I personally don't get rid of books. But if you want to take and declutter books and things like that, you can absolutely do that. And as I mentioned, you don't have to get rid of things. So if you have this really, you know, great collection of a wardrobe that you have been building up for years, then you might not want to get rid of very much. It can take time to build up a wardrobe, and there can be a lot of, like, I wish I would have kept my stuff from the early 2000s. They don't make anything like that anymore. I wish I would have kept it. I wish I would have kept the stuff from Underground Hot Topic. I wish I would have kept my low rise and super low rise flare leg bell bottom jeans. And I didn't, and I'm upset about it, and now you can't find them. And they were excellent quality. Ugh, still mad about it. So you don't necessarily have to get rid of things, but it would be good to downsize. So anything that you can let go of if you haven't worn something in a very long time or you're just over it, don't be afraid to just get rid of it. And by getting rid of it, I mean if anything in your home is still in good condition, don't just throw it to the landfill. Donate it. Look for local homeless shelters, any kind of local shelter that you can donate it to. That would be the best option. Of course, you can do like some sort of selling it somehow, yard sale, or use apps and try to make a little money off of it if you want to. And anything that doesn't sell, it would be good to donate to shelters or give to friends. That's something else that I've never done, but I've always thought was pretty cool is when a group of friends get together and they go through their stuff. Like, all right, Saturday, I'm gonna go through all my shit. You could even do this together, like one person's place at a time. Like, we're gonna spend 2 hours at your house and then 2 hours at my house, and then we're just gonna put all of our shit in one pile and grab and go. Like, whatever you want of mine, take it. Whatever I want of yours, take it. Anything that you want to get rid of, you can definitely do it that way as well. And it could be fun. So you can give your stuff to family, friends, or donate it because things are always going to be needed. And that is a good way to downsize. Now, if there's things you're unsure about, then you probably want to put it in a container. You probably want to keep it. And seasonal things as well, it can be really great to pull away all of your winter stuff and put it in containers instead of keeping it in your wardrobe. Because if you keep that in a closet, if you keep that in dressers, then it's taking up space where it is not even going to be needed for months, depending on where you live. But if you live in a place where you know you're not going to need it for several months, but you don't want to get rid of it, put it in a container to get it out of the way. And you can do that with all kinds of stuff, clothes, shoes, sports equipment, anything that you are not going to need all year round is really good to be able to have it organized and put into containers and put it away into a storage area. And then you don't have to deal with it until you need it. And then you can do the process all over again. So it's not necessarily spring cleaning, it's seasonal cleaning, which is better. And it's also going to be hopefully close by. That way, if I've had this happen before, I thought winter was over. I played myself because I put all of my winter stuff in storage several, like a handful of years ago, and then Mother Nature said, "Just kidding. It's gonna be cold again. Go get some of your stuff back, or you're gonna freeze." And so be prepared for that. You might anything if you were gonna take stuff to a storage, whatever your storage looks like. Let's just say a storage facility to simplify, but regardless of where it is, it kind of can look similar. If when you're putting your things back or putting things away into the storage, really don't forget to consider what you might end up needing before the next season where you're going to want to pull it back out, or things that you are not going to want at all. You just don't want to get rid of it. It's like very sentimental. It's memorabilia, it's baby stuff, it's just your childhood stuff, whatever it is that you don't want to get rid of, but you're not really going to need. Put that all the way in the back and then stack forward from there with the things that you might end up needing before the other stuff, if that makes sense. I feel like it does. And it might seem obvious, but some people don't think about it. Some people get really overwhelmed when it comes to cleaning and organizing. And so I'm just trying to help break it down and give some ideas here. But anyway, the same when it comes to kitchen and bathroom. Like those can be big areas there to have to go through absolutely every single drawer and cabinet and pull out everything and clean the drawer and clean the cabinet and then put things back. And it is a good time to consider how you have things set up because you might want to rearrange it a little bit. You might realize that you've bought some stuff since the last time you did this, and now things need to be revamped. Things need to be put in a different place. It's a good time to do it. It is a good time to do it. And again, you don't have to get rid of things that you absolutely want to hold on to, but if it's stuff that you don't really use and it's sentimental, you don't want to get rid of it, or you're unsure, put it in its own separate places. And as far as beauty products go and cosmetics, they have an expiration date. I know, at least for me, it can be hard to get rid of that stuff sometimes because it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive. And maybe at the time you really, really loved it and then you just kind of stopped using it, but it's been there for months or longer, and that's worse. If it is a liquid, it's going to be bad sooner than a powder, obviously, but keep that in mind. I mean, I still have a couple of palettes that are many years old, and I definitely should get rid of them, but it has that kind of like, I can't get rid of this, and the colors are great, and what if? Yeah. So I get that part. I do. Try to declutter that as much as possible and keep in mind things go bad. So, do you want that on your face? And if you know you're never going to touch it again, get rid of it. You don't need it. If it is just one of those things where it's like, you're really into the beauty stuff and it was this launch that was just a meaningful thing or really exciting or whatever, there's some sort of attachment there. That doesn't mean you have to throw it away, but it doesn't mean that it needs to keep taking up valuable real estate. So put it in a better spot and clean things as you go, disinfect as you go. Things get dirty and it's going to just pile up. It can actually be really, like, you realize how gross you can be by going through everything. Like, you dirty bird, we've got dust here. And I didn't even realize until I pulled everything out. Or there's powder, like makeup powder that came out and it's just been hanging out at the bottom of the, ew. So, good time. Good time to just wipe it all down. Anyway, throwing things out is going to be a big part of this. You are going to have to probably get rid of stuff. Get your mind in that right mindset. Like, I'm getting rid of things. I cannot keep hanging on to this. And one of the reasons is because of the mental health aspect of it. If it's not serving a purpose for you anymore that is positive, it's got to go. Just get rid of it. If it's, again, something that you might end up wanting later or you might want to come back to, then get it out of where you're going to come across it all the time. Because if you're not needing it, it shouldn't be there. And I know I understand like if you live in a very small space, how difficult that can be, and if you can't afford a storage unit, how difficult it can be. It's really you're gonna have to find ways that can help with your own particular situation. Something that might be helpful if you are just kind of stuck and you don't know what to do with your own space is to look up some videos on what maybe professionals, people that are really, really talented at such things, and look at something that is more specific to your own space. So if you have a really small apartment, then look up small apartment decluttering organization or cleaning inspiration videos. Those things can be really, really good to not only help motivate you to do it, but also to give you some ideas on how to do it. So highly recommend doing that. I personally really, really like cleaning and organizing videos. I don't like the ones that are like deep clean with me and it's just too much. It's too much, you know? I'm a germaphobe and there is a point where I'm like, no, that one's not for me. But it can also be good to kind of invest in organizing baskets, organizing stuff within the drawers, trays. You don't have to spend a ton of money on it. I think like dollar stores used to sell stuff like that. They probably still do. I haven't been in one in a while. Cheaper websites also offer things like that. It can absolutely be worth it. If it's going to help your daily life, if it's going to help your mental health, it is worth the investment. And I don't I don't want people to feel bad about their space. So don't feel like it's just beyond the point of no return. You can still you can still fix it. And if you need to ask for help, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have been stuck in overwhelm or depression or your schedule has just been terrible and you are super behind on really deep cleaning and going through and decluttering and all of that, then you can absolutely ask for help. I mean, there's probably friends that would be willing. I've helped my friends before with their cleaning and organizing and stuff like that, and I like doing it. I don't mind it one bit. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And like I said, the motivational videos can help just to be like, all right, I'm ready now. I'm ready. I'm in the right headspace to get this done. Turn on some good music while you're doing it, or a good podcast. Hey, or a TV show, your comfort show, whatever it is, to just help you get through it. Oof. And if you hit that point where you're kind of in the middle of it and you've got this huge mess and you're over it and you don't want to deal with it anymore, and you're like, why? Why did I start this? Maybe look at some motivational videos again. Maybe stop and have a sweet treat or a dance break or something and just take a reset. That way you're not absolutely miserable because the point is to help your mental health, not make it worse. And if you get caught up in like trying things on and just, I don't know, it can be really helpful for some people to set a timer. And particularly if it's hard to stay focused, then you can set yourself a timer and how that is going to have to be personal. So it could be 20 minutes for some people, it could be an hour for others, 10 minutes for somebody else, and just say, all right, I'm setting this timer and I'm doing this one task until this alarm goes off. If you need to make a note, make a list, then do a list of your tasks that you want to complete. Like, I'm going to go through my closet for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to go through my dresser for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go through my shoes for 5 minutes, whatever it is. Like you can go through it like that as well. And you can also try to make a game out of it. Some people really enjoy that too, where they like get dice involved or something like that. And depending on what they roll is what they is the task that they take on. It can be good if you have kids to get them in on it as well. And really, if you don't want to go the whole like potentially morbid thinking route on how much to clean out, then think of it in a way of like you're about to move. If you are about to move, what do you actually want to take with you? That can be a really good way to look at things as well, because if you're moving, then you have to think about downsizing. You have to think about, I haven't even thought about this thing in years. Why do I still have it? Or all that this is broken and I didn't even realize. Why is it here? Get rid of it. If you have a container of electronics, like cords and things like that, go through it. How much of that do you actually use and need? If it's photos and things like that, if it's going to be something where you're going to want to sit and really go through it, then make sure that that is something that you have a set aside dedicated day time to do. That way you're not you like if you've got one day on your day off where you're dedicating it to all of this cleaning and you want to get at least the majority of your home done, but in the middle of it, you get distracted by going through photos, sentimental things, then save that stuff for its own day. Set it aside if you need to for its own day or at the end, at the very, very end, the last thing that you do. That way you can still enjoy it, but it's not taking up all of the valuable time of getting things done and getting things cleaned and organized. Um, I'm trying to think of things that are kind of helpful for different different people, um, different lifestyles. It's going to be obviously a lot easier the less people you have to, that the less people you live with, the less shit you have to go through. And that could be a lot easier than someone who has a large family or roommates. If you have roommates, then maybe talk to them about doing it too, or at least like letting them know I'm going through the common area stuff. So you're gonna have to let me know what you want to keep. I don't know. It's up to your situation, but definitely something to consider. And like I said, going through and having containers, baskets, things that are really going to help with the organization and making it look cleaner and nicer. It doesn't even have to be anything expensive, and yet it can make a huge difference. And if you're going through your things like you're about to move, then that it's like this whole other level of getting rid of things. And it helps. It really does help. I move a lot, so I think I think it's sort of just a normal thing for me. But I also every season I will go through all of my stuff. Time to clean and organize. I get this kind of like I have to get this done. It's like this itch. Like I gotta scratch this. I gotta clean. I gotta organize. I gotta go through my things. I have to get rid of things. I have to just fix it. And for me, it's definitely an energy thing as well. It's a mental health thing for me in that way, where it's like an energy reset. It's a whole reset, and everything just feels so much lighter, cleaner, better. I can relax easier whenever everything is settled and clean and it's calming and it feels so much better when it's done. And even if it's not cleaning and organizing, if you pretty much stay on top of that and you just need to go through a deep clean, it's still going to be helpful. If you need to just go through a good cleaning, then it's time to get it done. And if you need to start there and then go through the deep cleaning and organizing and decluttering, that's okay too. However, this is going to work for you, you need to tailor it in a way that it is going to work for you. It is so much better for your mental health. It really, I mean, studies have proven that it helps your mental health when your environment feels good to you. And a lot of people, they're maximalists, and that's what they like. They like all their trinkets and they like their stacks of things, and that's what feels good to them. And that's okay. You don't have to be a minimalist. And a minimalist would look at that and go, I'm overwhelmed. That's too much. And a maximalist would look at a minimalist place and be like, that's not enough. What's going on? You're making me nervous. So it's really, it's up to your own personal style. And if you live with someone and you're opposites, you're gonna have to come to middle ground, unfortunately. Even if you have to make a game out of it where you put your things that you can potentially compromise on into a little, I don't know, friggin' hat. Just go old school with it. And on a piece of paper, they write it down like, I need you to get rid of this thing. And you're like, don't really want to, but it's not an absolute no. Put that in the hat. And then whatever you draw out, gotta go. Or just make the list and compromise. I don't know. Figure it out. Okay? Figure it out. Also, it has been proven that it not only helps with your mental health overall, but it helps with productivity, it helps with sleep, it helps with relaxation, it helps with everything. So do it. Get to spring cleaning, honey. Set up a seasonal would be better because then you can, like, get rid of the winter stuff when it's coming up on spring. And maybe you keep some long sleeve things, extra blankets, things like that for spring because it's still pretty cold. But then you're not going to need it during the summer. Then have it where it's easy to transition over and get that out of the way. And then, of course, once fall comes around, you're probably going to want to pull the spring stuff out or your fall stuff out, your dedicated fall stuff. And then winter, that's a whole nother beast. So just sorry, I got a wig hair in my mouth. If you wanna if you wanna change it seasonally, that's even better. But just try to keep it at least set yourself up in a way that's gonna make it really simple, really easy, as quick as possible. And then at least once a year, that is when you like really go in and do the deep cleaning and full decluttering and all of that. Once, maybe twice a year. The other stuff, as far as clothes, decorations, check it every season. Every time the weather's ready to change and really change and not just act like she's gonna change and then doesn't. All right, so I'm gonna check my notes real quick. It also, did I mention that it improves your focus and concentration when you have your space clean and organized? Because it does. It's also a lot healthier with physical health as well. Yeah, I think I already mentioned those points that I wanted to talk about as far as like mental health wise. Let me think. If you have kids, it could be good to have them help, or you're gonna have to do it when they're not there. It depends on your kids and their ages because if they're at an age where they haven't even thought about a toy in months, but suddenly they see you trying to get rid of it, now that's their favorite thing, but you know they don't actually care about it, you might have to do it when they're not there. If they can be part of the process, even better. Again, it depends on your kids and their personalities and their ages. If they are at a point where they can be part of the process. It can be kind of fun for them. You can do it in a way that feels like it's like this enrichment activity. It's this play thing. It's, hey, we're getting rid of this stuff and it's going to feel really clean and really great. And then you're going to have more space, more room for activities, and you can go through, you know, a section at a time. And organizing their space as well in a way that is functional for them. And that could be like putting their books in one spot, their coloring art supplies in one spot, their Legos in one spot, their dinosaurs in one spot, their dolls in one spot, whatever it is. The little stuffies in one area, blankets, whatever they've got, it can be organized. And that's where these baskets and things like that really come in handy. And with kids, because they grow so quickly, their stuff is gonna have to be gone through maybe every season instead of a couple times a year. Depends. But something to consider, that is for sure. And anything that you can't let go of because it's sentimental, that needs to go in a container and get put away in the sentimental offspring container box thing. Same with pets. Do you have stuff with your pets? Clean up their areas too. They need a good deep clean. Anyway, for your mental health, in a way that is going to be helpful for you, get your butt up and get to cleaning, get to deep cleaning, get to organizing, get to decluttering, and throw away the stuff that needs to be thrown away, wipe down the stuff that needs to be wiped down. Um, Donate the stuff that can be donated. Keep things organized in a way that makes sense for you, but also consider doing it in a way that's functional. That has to be part of the process. And again, highly recommend watching specific videos. I can't just sit here and tell you exactly what to do. That doesn't work for everybody. So that's why I would rather just do this overall thing and recommend if you want to look for ideas for your specific lifestyle, your specific situation, that is going to be much better. So look up cleaning motivation or decluttering and reorganizing a bathroom, decluttering and reorganizing a small apartment, decluttering and reorganizing a 5 bedroom house. I don't know, whatever it is, look it up and it can be really helpful and you can find these really amazing tips. And don't forget to be doing this frequently enough that it's going to actually help you the next time you do it. You're not going to have as much to have to deal with. It's not going to be so overwhelming and hopefully not feel like I can't, it's too much. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, but just know that you deserve a clean and organized space. The people that you live with do as well. Your pets do as well. So get it done and don't be afraid to ask for help. Look for motivation, things like that. If you have the means to hire help, you can absolutely do that too. There's probably some people that aren't super expensive. Just make sure that they've got good reviews, whoever you choose, whether they're expensive or inexpensive, because you're letting them into your home and around your stuff. So obviously, you want somebody that's going to feel good to have them there. And I don't know, I hope this was helpful. It feels like it kind of wasn't, but I wish I had, see, this is like one of those things where I wish I had someone on here with me to have this conversational kind of podcast with, because this kind of topic I feel like would go better in a conversational way. But it's just me. So I'm just kind of going with it. And I hope that it was helpful in some way. But yeah, spring cleaning time for your mental health, and for if you can't do it for yourself, then do it for people that you love and come into your space. and it will feel better when it's done. And don't feel like you have to get rid of things that you're really attached to. It just needs to be organized and put in a better location. That's all. It doesn't have to go away forever. Another thing to consider, if you want to, if looking at it in these ways are still not helpful, like don't forget about the things that what would you take in an emergency if there was an evacuation or something like that? Have that ready to go as well. Have it where it's easy to get to. If it's like, oh, but that was like in the very back of the storage because that's my sentimental stuff. And that I would want it to be where I can grab it and go if I have to just get out quickly. But it's now buried. Leave a path. Leave a path for something. If it's one of those things where you would absolutely need to go and get that, but it cannot be out in the forefront all the time because it's the sentimental thing that you're not really going to need often. But you would want to take it if you had to get out quickly, then leave a path for it. Leave it where you can get to it and not have to worry too much about being able to access it. Take that into consideration as well. Um, and don't forget to clean your car. Clean your vehicle. It's probably going to need it. It's definitely going to need it. I am no exception to that. I definitely, oh my God, my car is a mess right now. It is a mess. I finally washed it. It's, it was like a freaking salt lick. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Like, I can't believe I let it get that bad. It was so salty on the outside, salty as I am. On the outside, and the inside is just that time. But it has been so cold that I have not been interested in trying to clean the inside of my car, and now it is well beyond time. So, so don't forget your car as well, your vehicle. And yeah, so anyway, I hope that this is somewhat helpful. Watch some motivational videos, idea videos, get the supplies that you need to get everything ready before you do it. Set the date for yourself to do it and try to have fun with it as you can. If you need to take little dance breaks, do that. Little sweet treat, whatever. Just try to get through it if you absolutely hate doing it, and it'll feel good once it's over. Okay? So, spring cleaning, do it for your mental health. And until next time, all the links to things should be in the area. I don't know where you're watching this from, but links to socials and the pod as of right now is on Spotify and YouTube. You check it out there. I also still have my last year's podcast stuff that I was kind of dabbling with, see if I liked this. That's still up on YouTube. It's on the same page. I didn't change that page, but I did change the Spotify page. And they are different. So last year's episodes that I did, it's on the same YouTube as the Wildling podcast, but those episodes are different from the episodes that I put on Spotify for that podcast, which was called Dark Desires. That should be linked so you can access it if you want to check out those episodes. The more uncensored stuff was on Spotify, and that's why I separated them. But here, as of right now, I'm kind of putting both on both platforms. So I have both episodes that are going to be on YouTube and Spotify. But last year's pod, when I was testing the waters with it to see if I even wanted to do this, it was Dark Desires and it was separated. And some of these with the Wildling podcast, they may end up separated too. Obviously, if it is something that is on an adult topic, a spicy topic, something that we want to be uncensored, unfiltered, that is not going to be able to go on YouTube because they are heavy on their censorship. So keep that in mind. But this one will be on both. And if you want to check out the old episodes, that's how you can do it. But anyway, take care of yourself. Do your spring cleaning and find fun however you can and whenever you can because we definitely don't get enough of that. Take care of yourself. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Like, follow, share, subscribe, all the things. You know how it goes by now. See ya.